Welcome everyone, Raihaan here from International Coffee Traders. Welcome to ICT. This is our warehouse and I want to show you in depth a couple of coffees that we've got available, give you a bit of an insight into what you're looking for when you buy some of these coffees. So, a couple of popular coffees that a lot of people buy, Ethiopians. Ethiopians are these sort of characteristic birthplace of coffee type coffees. When you're tasting Ethiopian coffees, you're tasting where coffee originated from. So you've got to kind of imagine the wild forests of Ethiopia. Imagine coffee growing wild out there. That's what coffee tastes like. That's what it originated from. So come in close, let's have a look at some traditional processing methods from Ethiopia. So most Ethiopian coffees will either be washed or natural. These are both two examples of really great Ethiopian coffees. You've got the washed on this side and the natural over on this side. Now come in really close and I'll show you the difference between the two. First of all, looking at the green coffee, you immediately will see a color difference. We've got bright green for the washed and more of a yellowy green for the natural. That's your sort of first indicator of what that processing method is. And these will fundamentally taste quite different because of the way that they're processed. So, wash coffees. Let's have a real close look at this now. You'll see this sort of silver skin around the edges of the coffee, but a bright green, clean looking coffee with a white silver skin down the center crease. You'll also see what's, I guess, a very moonscape kind of look about this round surface of the bean. That's an indication that this is a wash coffee. So even without knowing anything about it, you should be able to look at the coffee and go, yep, wash coffee. By contrast, you look at the natural. You'll see a lot more remnants of fruit. So you'll see more of this yellow and brown attachment to the coffee. And down the center crease, you see more brown or no silvery skin down the middle of the coffee. So that's an indication that this is a natural coffee. Now, natural coffees being dried in the fruit means that they are going to have more of the fruity characteristics, whereas wash coffees, because the fruit's been removed and it's been washed, you're tasting more of the genetics of the coffee. So here you're tasting genetics, here you're tasting some fruit and combination of the genetics as well. That's Ethiopian coffees. So depending on what you're looking for, that's the kind of stuff you get. Now, Brazil. Here's a great example of coffee from Brazil. Brazil is very different from Ethiopia. Coffee doesn't grow wild. It's grown on highly commercialized agricultural farms, which are very mechanical in the way that they harvest. There's a lot of structure. They're basically very, very good at producing lots and lots and lots of coffee, like any commercial farm. So Brazilian coffees often are mixed together and blended based on quality grades, but this is an example of a natural Brazilian coffee. So you will see, again, a lot of fruit remnants left on the surface of the coffee. This one happens to be produced by a female-only cooperative. So this coffee is produced by female coffee growers. Lovely coffee, really nice story behind it. That coffee tends to taste, very chocolatey and nutty. Brazilian coffees always have those sort of characteristics, and that's a lot to do with the terroir and the genetics that they grow there. Now, last example. Two coffees from the same farm. In fact, they're both the same coffee, but they don't look the same. Come in really close. You wouldn't imagine that these are the same coffee. This one is a washed coffee. This one is the decaffeinated version of the same coffee. So what the producer's done, this is his washed coffee from a farm called La Esperanza in Colombia. He produces this as his main product, but what we asked is for about 6 or 7 tons to be decaffeinated and sent over to us. And this has been one of the best decaf coffees we've ever had. Because it's got such a high quality starting product, and then decaffeinated, that's what gives it this odd color, this sort of brown color. What we have is a really interesting example of a coffee that is fundamentally Colombian in the way that it tastes, and then you can see what decaffeination does to the exact same coffee. So that's a nice little set actually, where you can buy both coffees and see what they taste like, and see only what decaffeination does. The color goes brown like this because decaffeination involves a little bit of heat. So you get some discoloration of the green beans and it goes brown. Makes it a little bit interesting when it comes to roasting because you've got to factor in that the coffee is not green to start with. So there's a quick overview of some of the different processing methods from different countries. I hope that's been informative. We'll be back with more.